Listen and then answer the questions.
The Scottish electrical engineer John Logie Baird invented a mechanical television system. This television pioneer created the first televised pictures of moving objects in 1924. Then in 1928, he succeeded in transmitting an image of a human face across the Atlantic and demonstrated a colour television. He persuaded the BBC to start broadcasting television on the Baird 30-line system in 1929. Simultaneous sound and vision was first broadcast in 1930. In July 1930, the first British television play was transmitted. But in 1936, the BBC adopted the electronic television technology of Marconi EMI. This technology had 405 lines per picture, compared to Baird's 30. The quality of the picture was much better. Although Baird lost his early advantage, many people think he was the founder of the modern television, which is enjoyed throughout the world today.
Listen and then answer the questions.
In the parts of Asia where they live, people respect and fear tigers. They are predators who keep the ecosystem in balance by killing their prey. But with only 6,000 of them left in the wild and 3 of the 8 species already extinct, how much longer will tigers roam around their habitat? Tigers are victims of illegal poaching by poor people who sell them on to make a living. To make things worse, as humans invade their natural territory, these animals are often poisoned, electrocuted, or blown up by landmines. But the greatest threat to the tiger is the loss of its habitat and the falling numbers of the animals on which it feeds. The World Wildlife Fund, WWF, is acting to save the tiger by finding places where the prospects for long-term conservation are best. In these areas, it is setting up programs to reduce poaching, to eliminate the illegal trade in tiger parts, and to encourage local communities to support tiger conservation.
Listen and then answer the questions.
Richard Branson, the highly successful founder of the Virgin Group of companies, opened his first record shop in Oxford Street in 1971. Today there are Virgin megastores everywhere, but the one in Oxford Street is the flagship. Youngsters from all over the world flock there to get the latest albums, DVDs and videos of their favourite bands, or to pick up the current version of the hottest computer games. Turn up on a Thursday night at 6 p.m. when live DJs play for Virgin Radio, or check out their website to find out when some megastar will be there signing copies of his or her most recent CD. Be there. It could be a cool shopping experience. Address, Oxford Street.
Listen and then answer the questions.
Nikola Tesla was born in 1856 to a Serbian family in a small village, then in the Austrian Empire. Legend has it that the night he was born there was an electrical storm and the sky was filled with lightning. His long journey to success as a physicist was equally stormy. He suffered major losses. People he trusted let him down. In fact, he had so many problems on the road to wealth and fame that at times he even had to work as a labourer digging ditches.
Listen and then answer the questions.
Marie Curie was Polish, but later became a citizen of France. She was a pioneer in the field of radioactivity, the first person honoured with 2 Nobel Prizes. Although a French citizen, she never lost her sense of Polish identity. Regardless of how famous and admired, she always remembered her Polish childhood. In fact, she lived there until the age of 24. She named the first new chemical element that she discovered after her native country, polonium. In 1932, she founded the Radium Institute in her hometown, Warsaw.
Listen and then answer the questions.
There are many unusual traditional beliefs concerning house and home. For the most part, they are now recorded in folk history books and not really followed or seriously believed in today. But there are still a few, mostly older people, who continue the old traditions of their ancestors. Here are a few that I've heard about. A common superstition is the belief that houses can be friendly or hostile, lucky or unlucky. There are, fortunately, many remedies to correct a house with negative qualities. The front door is a good starting place. It's a sensible place to spread good luck, as this is the main point of entry. All manner of statues, symbols, etc. have been used for this job. Probably the most common is a horseshoe, with the points upwards to stop the luck from running out. And there are plenty of sayings about doors. It's apparently unlucky to enter the house for the first time by the back door, as this entrance isn't protected against evil spirits. Also, that you should encourage visitors to leave by the same door they came in, to avoid taking the owner's luck with them. If a door blows open, a visitor is coming, and so on and so forth.
Listen and then answer the questions.
Most people have heard the story of the lost island of Atlantis. But is any part of the story true? The Greek writer Plato wrote that Atlantis was an island in the Atlantic Ocean. The island's wealthy people designed many great buildings and canals. At the center of the island, they built a beautiful golden temple. But the Atlanteans became greedy. They had everything, but they still wanted more. The gods became angry, and the island was hit by earthquakes and great waves. Finally, the whole of Atlantis sank into the sea. Throughout history, explorers have reported finding Atlantis. In 2004, the explorer Robert Sarmast reported finding the island's remains on an undersea mountain near Cyprus. However, Sarmast and other scientists later found out these findings were natural, not man-made. Many people think Atlantis is simply a story. The purpose of the story was to teach people about the evils of greed. Richard Ellis published a book on Atlantis in 1999. He says there is not a piece of solid evidence for a real Atlantis. So was the island real or not? Only one thing is certain. The mystery of Atlantis will be with us for a long time.
Listen and then answer the questions.
As a boy, Robert Ballard liked to read about shipwrecks, especially the Titanic. My lifelong dream was to find this great ship, he says. On August 31st, 1985, Ballard's dream came true. With video cameras and an underwater robot, Ballard found the two main parts of Titanic nearly 4 kilometers beneath the sea. He also saw many sad reminders of Titanic's end, including a child's pair of shoes lying on the ocean floor. There were more than 1,500 deaths that night in 1912. Ballard reached the Titanic again in 1986 in a small submarine. He used a deep-sea robot, a swimming eyeball, to take photos inside the ship. When they saw the images, other people wanted to visit the shipwreck. When Ballard returned in 2004, he found the ship in worse condition. Other explorers had taken away about 6,000 items, including jewelry, love letters, lamps, and even pieces of the ship. They believed the items should be moved to a safer place, but Ballard doesn't agree. Ballard believes that taking things from Titanic is like robbing a grave. Instead, he hopes to put lights and cameras on Titanic. With this technology, people can see the shipwreck on a computer and remember the great ship. As long as she needs protection, says Ballard, Titanic will always be part of my life.
Listen and then answer the questions.
Baseball is sometimes called the national pastime of the United States, but modern baseball is truly an international game. Baseball began in the U.S. in the early 19th century. The first World Series was played in 1903. However, only American and Canadian teams played in the series. The first non-U.S. victory was by the Toronto Blue Jays in 1991. Since the early 1990s, managers of U.S. teams have brought several foreign players to the U.S. game. Today, about 30% of players in American baseball come from foreign countries, including Puerto Rico, Japan, South Korea, and the Dominican Republic. One of the first Asian players in the U.S. was Japanese pitcher Hideo Nomo. Nomo got a lot of attention from the media when he joined the Los Angeles Dodgers in 1995. Soon, many other U.S. teams were making contracts with players from other countries. Today, world-class baseball is available to more fans than ever before. In 1994, baseball became part of the Asian Games. In 2006, 16 teams from around the world took part in the first World Baseball Classic, an international series of professional baseball games. Finally, baseball has become a truly global pastime.
Listen and then answer the questions.
People in our part of the world may think the British have odd ideas about what they should do with their leisure time. Just look on the internet and you will find some interesting information. Unlike in many countries, young people do not take part in sports activities very much in the UK. Government statistics show that the British spend on average only 15 minutes a day doing sports. And, contrary to what you might think, young people don't participate in sport more than older people. The average time spent doing sport, playing games or going swimming or hiking doesn't change much with age. If they're not sporty, what does the average UK citizen do in his or her free time? The answer might surprise you. He or she watches TV. Statistics show that British people watch TV between 2 and 3 hours daily, and men watch more than women. The other great British hobby, especially among women, is shopping. People do have normal hobbies, of course. If we look at household expenditure statistics, we can see that gardening and photography are still popular. In spite of TV, young people still go to the cinema, but very few people visit museums or art galleries. Magazines and newspapers are read a lot too.